What's up? It's 10:34 p.m., 10th of June 2024. And you know what I realized from the comment section? For some reason, a lot of people don't like seeing me with my shirt off. I don't know why. Anyway, I was reading the book Power versus Force, and I'm not sure if any of you have read that. But it's an interesting book. Right? The only reason I was reading it is because one of my mentors actually recommended me to read that book, chapter 4 in particular. And I read it, and I thought it was interesting. I see what they're going for. So what I'm going to do is actually take that advice on board, right? However, I'm a little bit skeptical. Now, basically what it talks about is as people, as humans, right? We've got mental energies or cognitive states of energy that rank from lowest to highest. The lowest form is shame, and the highest form is enlightenment. And the form of cognitive energy that you begin to experience some level of mental power or mental leverage is neutrality, right? You're not completely happy, you're not completely sad, you're not really feeling anything. You're neutral. You're not really trying to do anything. It's just let the cards fall where they may type of mentality, right? And I'm not gonna lie, I kind of resonated with that. I was like, oh, I was kind of like that for quite a while, you know. I'm not sure if you guys can relate to it, but like, especially me in high school, I didn't really give a shit about nothing. Didn't care about anything. I didn't care about people. I didn't care about money. I literally didn't care about anything, right? I would I would climb the side of buildings. I would get into fights just for fun because it was like it would spike my adrenaline. But that all came from a place of neutrality. Some of you might think that comes from a place of pride because you want to like show off, right? You want to fight. But no, when I was doing it was just because I was bored. You know, like I had nothing to do. So that's neutrality. And I disagree with it a little bit. Even though it is better than anger, pride, and shame, even though it is better, I think in certain situations, you need to lean towards, let's say pride. I think pride is important in certain situations, right? I really truly believe that you should do things in order to be proud of yourself. I think that you need to look at yourself as if you are a second being and see yourself almost from the third person sometimes and say, if I do this, will I be proud of myself? And if the answer is always yes, if you ask that question and it's always yes and you do that action, then sooner or later you're going to become someone that you personally respect. So I kind of disagree with that. Although, you know, my mentor gave it to me for a reason. So I'm gonna try and implement it, even though I don't really know how to implement that chapter. It just talks about like these are the cognitive levels of energy, and that's it. Maybe it's so that you can be aware of it. I'm not even sure. But I do agree with one thing, and that's that one of the cognitive levels of energy that they talked about that was even higher than neutrality was courage. And that's something that I really, really relate with. Because you have to be courageous, right? And when you do act out of courage, you might not feel courageous in the moment. But here's the definition of courage, right? It's acting despite being afraid. So courage isn't an emotion. Courage is an action in despite of fear. So I disagree with the emotional, with the cognitive level of courage. However, when you act courageous, time and time again, it goes back to the point. When you look at yourself from a third person perspective, and you see yourself as someone that's being brave and acting courageous, you will start to build that level of respect for yourself. Not just respect, but you will start to admire yourself. You start to look after yourself. And you'll start to take care of yourself, and you'll start to love yourself. You have to treat yourself as if you're someone that you love. Now, how are you going to do that if you don't even respect yourself? Right? So, this chapter 4 that my mentor got me to read, look, it's a great chapter. I loved reading it, right? But it's just like, I don't really, how are you even meant to implement these things? I don't even really know. Anyway, maybe you guys have something to say about it. Maybe some of you have something to say about me being shirtless again. I don't really give a shit. Comment away. Anyway, I'm gonna go to bed.